Hey, it's Maximo and welcome to Maximo's Travels. I'm excited to tick another item off my bucket list by visiting subtropical Okinawa in Japan. We catch a China Airlines flight from Taipei to Naha Airport. We'll catch a monorail train from the airport to our hotel in Naha. After getting a good night's sleep, we'll go and visit the Shurijō Castle, the palace of the Rokoko Kingdom for over 400 years. The main hall of the castle burned down in 2019, but we get to experience it being rebuilt by traditional methods by master craftsmen. Walk along the castle's high walls and extensive gardens and marvel at the extensive views high on the hill. We'll go to a huge mall and buy stationery and luggage from the Hands department store. We'll go to its cafe and get served by a robot waiter. We'll get a bird's eye view of a monorail train driver at work. We'll also visit the famous Kokusai Dori shopping street. Join me as I start to explore Naha in Okinawa, Japan. We'd had an absolutely fantastic time in Taiwan. It was time to head off to our next destination, which was Okinawa. We boarded a China Airlines flight from Taipei to Naha in Okinawa, a journey of around about 1 hour and 15 minutes and around 670 kilometers. If you're interested in watching a flight review of this flight, then check out my flight review playlist for it. We'd arrived at Naha's modern airport around about 7:15 in the evening. It was a breeze getting through customs and immigration and picking up our bags. I was so looking forward to our trip to Okinawa, and it was our third trip to Japan in about 5 years. It was pretty easy getting to our hotel. We followed the well-marked signs to the monorail train station and walked down a covered walkway to it. We found the station without any difficulty and decided to get a 2-day 48-hour ticket from an automatic ticket machine. We did pay with cash, but I believe you can use IC cards or credit cards as well. I'll leave a link in the description to the monorail website and the fare structure. The monorail was clean, modern and very heavily patronised. It was elevated, but unfortunately because it was dark we didn't have much of a view of the passing scenery. We got off at the Shurijō station. It was a 9-minute ride and only 4 stations from the airport. The single cost ticket for this journey would have been 270 yen, or less than $3 Australian. I'm utterly fascinated by trains in Japan. Not only are they affordable, they're modern, clean and extremely punctual. I could watch them for hours. We were staying at the Mercure Hotel in Naha. I will do a separate review of this hotel in the coming weeks. The location was absolutely fantastic. That is the monorail station, and we are right across the road. And it's the Mercure Hotel we're staying in. Very, very convenient. Very convenient.
Early the next morning.
After a good night's sleep, we were up early, ready to explore the city of Naha. The monorail station was only 100 or so meters away from the hotel. Incidentally, all the monorail stations are elevated, and they all have elevators as well as stairs, so they're mobility friendly. We were staying at the edge of the city, right across the river, the Nagado River. It was a little bit quiet in the center of the city, and while it wasn't close to the Kokusai Dori shopping street, everything was just a very short monorail trip away. And the elevated platform and viewing area of the monorail station provided a fantastic vantage point to check out our surroundings. The monorail trains come every 5 minutes at peak times and about every 10 minutes in off-peak times. The trains are both 2 and 3 carriages, and there's markings on the floor to tell you where you should stand for each type of train. The first thing we saw was Shurijō Castle. This is 10 monorail stops and a 20-minute ride away. There was quite a sudden and heavy downpour of rain while we were in the monorail, but thank goodness everything cleared up by the time that we got out at Shuri Station. We've dodged a fairly heavy shower, and unfortunately my shoes did get a little bit wet, and now they're squeaking, both of them. Not only is it driving me mad, it's driving Joe mad as well. Oh well, let's hope they dry. The temperature was around 32 to 33 degrees and the rain had increased the humidity to over 95%. It made walking really difficult. According to some of the locals we spoke to, this weather was quite unseasonal so late in the year. Shurijō Castle was the royal palace and administrative centre of the Ryukyu Kingdom between 1429 and 1879, when it was annexed by the Empire of Japan. It fell into disrepair and disuse until World War II, when it was used as a command centre by the Japanese Army. Restorations of the walls and gardens and some of the buildings began in the 1990s. In October of 2019, a huge fire broke out and destroyed the main hall and some of the adjacent buildings. It was the 5th time that the castle had been destroyed. Previous incidents occurred in 1453, 1660, 1709 and 1945 during World War II. The castle was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2000. Also in 2000, it was vowed to rebuild the main hall and some of its adjacent buildings. Construction started in the year 2020 and is expected to finish in 2026. It cost only 400 yen to enter the castle. The opening hours are generally from 8 AM to 6 PM and it closes up to 8 PM in the summer months. The castle sits high on a hill and the views from it are spectacular. You can see quite a bit of Naha and even some of the surrounding sea and port areas. This castle complex is huge. So the original castle burnt to the ground just a few years ago and they are in the process of reconstructing it. So this is what it would have looked like, and we'll just go inside the building to see how they're progressing with their reconstruction efforts. So the castle burnt down in 2019. It doesn't look like a hell of a lot of it was left after the fire. And there's some of the pictures, both during and after the fire. So basically a huge shed was built to totally surround the building of the reconstruction of the castle. It's being built by a huge team of master craftsmen using as many of the traditional methods and materials as is possible. There's a viewing platform that has windows that has access to the innards of the shed where you can watch the men at work. Each of the viewing platforms is accessible by lift, so it's very handy for those mobility impaired or even people in wheelchairs for that matter. We were even able to see sections of the roof being reconstructed. And the whole thing was just amazing. I think being able to see one of the main halls under construction using traditional methods was even more interesting than seeing a restored castle, although if I had the choice I would go to an original centuries old castle. The castle and its gardens are absolutely huge. It extends for over 1 kilometre in length and up to 300 metres in width at the widest points. It features quite a few high stone walls. Some of them have been recently refurbished and others are original. And you get absolutely breathtaking views from the very tops of the highest walls. We spent a couple of hours wandering around the castle and its grounds. Then we walked back to the Shuri train station and rode 4 stops to our next destination. This is Naha Main Place, a relatively modern and new big shopping mall in Naha's suburb of Omoromachi. The mall was deliciously air conditioned. It gave us plenty of respite from the heat and humidity of outside. We wandered through the different shops and stopped at this particular one. It was one of the biggest gachapon and claw machine shops I'd seen in Japan. Joe had come to this mall to specifically come to this department store, Hands. It specialises in stationery amongst other things. We were a bit hungry, so we decided to go to its cafe, the Hands Cafe. It was pretty busy, so we had to register our names and waited about 10 to 12 minutes before we were called in to our table inside the restaurant. Walking line of Hands Cafe. It is Hands Cafe. Yes. I don't think we'll be eating stationery somehow. Is that a stationery store, isn't it? Lifestyle. I did. I've got a nice blue backpack to match with Joe's backpack. She's got like a purpley one. And I've got a blue for boys. The menu looked interesting, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I know, we'll see what it's like. Okay, let's wait. The restaurant had nice decor, a funky vibe, menus in English and Japanese, and had 2 robot waiters as well.
Is this ours?
Yeah. And the robot has delivered our food. Thank you. He's going to go away. It's like stalking us now.
I just said goodbye.
Yeah, it's very weird, isn't it? Very weird.
Different.
Bye-bye, robot. Oh, what have you got there, Joe?
Pancake with berries.
Is it a fluffy pancake?
It's quite fancy.
It's fluffy enough. And I have a tandoori salad with melon soda. Hands Cafe provided fantastic service, good food at a reasonable price. Afterwards, we walked back to the train station and caught the monorail a few more stops. We were fortunate to sit behind the driver, who appeared to be under instruction. Have I mentioned before how much I love Japanese trains? Just watching the drivers and their almost military precision and efficiency in everything they do. It's just truly fascinating to watch. I could watch them drive for hours and hours and hours. We rode the monorail for 4 stations and got out to see the Kokusai Dori shopping street. This is an approximately 1 kilometre boulevard that's filled with hotels, shops, restaurants, and more souvenir shops that you could poke a stick at. It's also lined with palm trees, giving it sort of a Hawaiian feel about it as well. Oh, there's a lizard. No, this isn't a temple, it's an ice cream shop. Let's go in and try one. Yeah, let's go in. Joe was right as usual. It wasn't an ice cream store, but it was a sweet potato cake store that sold all manner of sweet potato cakes and pastries and chocolates. They even had a window where you could see the production line at work. No ice cream, but plenty of cakes. And we saw these coming off the production line, and here they are. There's a whole tray of them. We finished up at the shopping street and rode the monorail back to our hotel. The heat and humidity had taken a fair bit out of us. We decided to get a few things from the convenience store across the road from the hotel and eat in our hotel room that night. We'd spent a brilliant first day exploring Naha in Okinawa. I do hope you've liked this video. If so, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Hit that notify bell so you'll never miss another upcoming video. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying me a coffee or hit that super thanks button. And until my next video highlighting my superb trip to Okinawa, you take care and bye now.